Hello and welcome back to the final Wii U episode, if I say so. We will look at games later, but for now, with the hardware and stuff like that, this is the last one in this series, so to speak. And we are going to look at what is the most interesting thing about the Wii U itself, to be honest, the Wii U Pad, which is a really interesting new innovative thing from Nintendo that kind of defines this new console. And I talked a little bit about the fact that you couldn't count the Wii U itself as a next generation gapped console, especially based on the hardware itself. But it is a little bit of a lie, because if you look at it like this is also a piece of hardware, even though it is the actual controller that you're using when you're playing the game. But this actually makes for something that is completely new for playing video games, and therefore it is something you haven't seen in a generation yet to be, and this might as well be the next generation GAP's new thingy. And in that aspect, I'd say that the Wii U Gamepad is highly interesting. So what does this one do for your gaming experience? Well, to begin with, you have this touchpad area here, which you can use your stylus for in the exact same manner as your DS and the 3DS. But you can also use it to play the games itself on it. I could actually start up playing the Nintendo Wii U from the get-go here, and someone else can watch a TV show. Now, it doesn't work with every single game, of course, which makes it a little bit tricky to choose your games for if you want to have that portable playstyle available to you. But there are some of the more common games, like the new Super Mario and also the downloadable title I'll review later in the Mighty Switch Force. Now, the capabilities of this one, except for being a hand controller for your games, is that you can also use it as a TV controller, which works pretty well. All in all, the feeling of the hand controller itself in your hand, even though it looks really big, suits the hands perfectly, and the shape of the backside together with the buttons makes for really good FPS controls. I've been trying it together with the Zombie U game, with the new Super Mario Bros. Game, with the Mighty Switch Force, and it works splendid with every single one of them. The dual sticks, the dual analog sticks that you can use, are both really handy to control your characters with, and also to browse with in different kinds of areas on YouTube and on the web browser. The D-pad, which is the licensed Nintendo accessory that's soon going to be available for other developers to use, is of course a really good asset as always, and it's neatly placed just under it so you can reach it with your thumb. Feels perfectly. The stylus is neatly tucked here on the top side on the right corner, which is for easy access in a lot of games, and you can also use it to type on the keyboard that pops up just like your smartphone or your iPad, and that makes for a really great accessory, especially when you're playing games and you want to interact in some kind of way with your controller to either browse on the internet, check for answers on something that you might have gotten stuck with, or if you just want to have some quick interactions with other people playing the game. And, of course, when you're playing a game like the Zombie U, you can use the touchpad to, for instance, change your inventory. You can check it at the same time looking for zombies with the radar. And when you're playing other games, you can actually play the game itself on here, which, as I told you, is the kind of portable device. Now, other things that this one features is that you can of course charge it. It has a really low battery lifetime, which is the big bane for this one, and I get it since it's such a cool new device. It just sucks the battery out of it instantly. But it can be charged and it can stand on the official stand that you get with it, at least in the premium version, that is. And the regular cable charges it up pretty fastly, so I don't see it as a big problem. But if you look at it to replace your Nintendo 3DS or your Nintendo DS, it is actually not going to be at all the same as those consoles, even though that might not be what you expected either. But just to make it on a clear note, that is just not possible with this kind of handheld device. Also, I must say that if you compare it to how the Wii modes had sound effects on them in the actual hand controller, this one features a system to also with speakers, of course, that you can control from the top side, and that works a lot better. And overall, this might just be a system in its own that just completes the Wii U system as a whole. The Wii U pad, in conclusion, is an accessory that just feels like the general controller for the Wii U generation. And of course you can use the Wii remotes from the earlier generation, you can use the Pro controller by playing, but this is by far the hand controller that I'm using the most and that I always want to use when I'm playing. Though the sad part is they are really expensive and you can't really share it like you can do with like a Wiimote as easily, and you can't combine the controllers as freely as I would have wanted to. If you look at the services outside of the games, it does everything that you expect from it, and there ain't no better accessory out there in any kinds of way. So there is very few things that I actually look down on. I must say that, like the system that I gave a positive grade, but it's not perfect, this is actually everything that I wanted from the Wii U. When I saw this controller I was a bit skeptical, but it actually grew on me to the point that now when I'm actually sitting with it, it even went further than my expectations, and that rarely happens when you're criticizing everything like how I do. I just can't really see to find anything that I don't like with it at this point. So for grading this one as a conclusion to this video, I'll actually give this one, and I think this might be my first perfect 10, and that's for a hardware accessory to a gaming console and not a game itself. But a little bit of a fanfare for that. Nintendo, you actually did something really unique, and this kind of defines not only the Wii U but also the next generation of gaming, if you ask me. Now, what did I tell you in the last part of the last video I made? Well, basically I told you that a system is nothing without its games, so we'll see what the system will bring for this perfect accessory, because just like any other really solid foundations that is outside there in all kinds of areas, if you don't use this one, we will remember it in history as one of the most interesting concepts that just became nothing. And I would hate for Nintendo to do that with the Wii U pad, since I already am completely in love with the hand controller itself. But we'll see what happens. No one can predict the future, but I can actually say that I am really enthusiastic about seeing what will be with this new Wii U pad. Until next time, Undertaker out.